I love off-market deals because it's much easier to negotiate a discount when you're not competing against everybody else on Property 24. It's 6 times 3-bedroom duplexes, so 6,000 times 6 units is 36,000 per month in rental income. We realized that there was one problem tenant, a tenant that had moved in 2 years ago and hadn't made one single payment in that entire 2-year process. Welcome back to another case study. We're here in one of my favorite investment areas, the old south of Johannesburg. Today specifically, we are in Forest Hill, which I kind of consider as one of the lower risk areas in the old south. You've got your Rosettenville, your Durfantine, your West Durfantine, and you've got your La Rochelle. Those are your riskier areas, and you've got to be a little bit more hesitant and got to put a bigger provision for bad debts. But here in Forest Hill, you've got your families, you've got stronger community, you've got better well-run buildings. And here we're actually driving past the school. This is Forest High on the way to the building. And I like being close to schools because the schools attract families. Families stay in the property for longer. They look after the property a bit more. So we're on the street opposite the school, and I've got a couple of buildings here. So I do know the tenant demographic. I know what kind of delinquency rate there is. So in terms of that provision for bad debts, I've got a good number here. Also, your provision for maintenance is also going to be a little bit low because it's family. So here's one of the buildings that I own. This is called Batten Keep. It's a block of 9 times 2-bedroom units, filled with tenants, filled with families, good payment profile. There's no issues here. And we're right now driving to one of my latest acquisitions, a building called St. Jude. So we bought this building from a distressed seller. She was struggling to manage the property. When we spoke to her in a bit more detail, we realized that there was one problem tenant. A tenant that had moved in 2 years ago and hadn't made one single payment in that entire 2-year process. And, if you don't have the right management team and you don't take the right steps, these kind of delinquent tenants can stay indefinitely. And I've heard some serious horror stories. The reality is that if you're going to invest in this market, if you're going to invest in property actually in general, you need to have a good eviction process. Regarding the other 5 tenants, they're phenomenal. And that's the beautiful thing, is you can find good quality tenants. You have to do a bit of vetting. You have to make sure that the tenant's got good affordability, they've got a stable income stream, they've got a good credit history, they've got good character references from previous landlords. As long as you make sure that that vetting is done up front, that's really great. But when you're buying a new building, you're inheriting tenants. You buy over that lease agreement. Now, the other 5 tenants of this building are phenomenal, and that's why we decided to take the risk. We said, if we give ourselves 3 or 4 months to evict this bad apple, at least we've got the other 5 tenants that are paying the bill and paying the bond and paying the rates and taxes and everything. So those 5 tenants are paying religiously on time and are really great quality people, and they cover our bills, and that gives us the 3-4 month timeline that we need to essentially evict the bad apple. And then we have to go into the bad apple's property. He's probably trashed it a little bit. Because we're evicting him, he might even go towards intentionally breaking the property down. Okay, but then we go in, we renovate, we then vet, bring in a proper good quality tenant, and we have a building that operates really well. So this property I found through an agent of mine. It was actually on the market, but they weren't getting the price that they wanted, and so they took it off the market. And I love off-market deals because it's much easier to negotiate a discount when you're not competing against everybody else on Property 24. So here we're at St. Jude. It's 6 times 3-bedroom duplexes. What I love about this building is that it's brick face, super easy to maintain and to manage. The original asking price for this property was just under 3 million, and we were able to secure it for 1.7 million, giving a 42% discount. This property is currently fully let with only one problem tenant, which we are dealing with. For the rest, they are paying 6,000 per unit. So 6,000 times 6 units is 36,000 per month in rental income, giving a gross yield of 25% on a purchase price of 1.7 million. we were able to secure finance on this deal of 70% loan to value. So we had to put a little bit of equity down. And because we're going in the commercial space, we're getting commercial terms. So that has affected our cash flow. We are currently at a break-even state, but our internal rate of return, which is your return on investment over a longer period of time, is just under 19% with a net present value of 2.1 million. We're going to go inside one of the units now to see what the condition is. So as we get in, first thing is that there is a guest bathroom. And then as we move through, you've got your lounge area here, which is quite spacious. Nice tiles, has been recently repainted. As we move through, we've got our common area here, your dining room table where you get to celebrate and have some good family time. Then we have the kitchen over here. So the kitchen is quite nicely laid out. It's got a lot of storage space. You've got your zinc tops, which is pretty durable and resilient. And then let's go upstairs where the rooms are. So again, it's recently painted in very good condition. These are the kind of dream tenants that you look for, that they take ownership. They've been here for 31 years. You can see that they're involved, they're engaged, they're proud of their house. And it's lovely to have these kind of tenants. So I would assume that this is the master bedroom. Pretty spacious. You've got a comfortable king-size bed. You've got tons of cupboard space. And then we have an ensuite bathroom. You've got your shower, your facilities, and your bathtub. Again, a nice, comfortable, spacious place. The other two bedrooms are slightly a bit smaller. So this one's probably more of a, kid's room. They're using it for additional storage. So this is a bit of a smaller room. You could probably fit a single bed in here. You've got your cupboard space. So it is decent. Then we move over to the other room. Again, a queen-size bed, a nice TV, cupboard space, and then the third bathroom. This is fantastic for a small family. We're close to the school, good condition, good quality tenants, good security. This is the kind of perfect purchase for a low-risk investor. This is St. Jude, one of my favorite buildings, super easy to maintain, super easy to manage, and I'm looking forward to a prosperous growth with my partner. If this is the kind of deal that you're interested in, but you don't want to do it on your own, you're maybe not familiar with the market, you don't know how to do the maintenance, the management, but you do see the appeal and the value of buying into the lower income affordable housing sector, please reach out to me. I've got a great partnership program where we pool our capital together and I do all the work. I find the deal, I negotiate, I manage the tenants, I maintain the building, and I make sure that you get a good return on your money. So if this sounds interesting to you, click the link below and get involved.